has been released.
Many of the masters of Tibetan music have died or been displaced. Traditional Tibetan music is becoming a memory and is no longer connected to the daily lives of the average Tibetans.
We've got a student who's interested in his roots. He wants to document Tibetan music and he wants to share that with the world. This is a typical role for any researcher, and I hope that the Chinese authorities will see this appropriately.
How can we convince the authorities that they've got the wrong person? That, you know, they have nothing to fear from him, and there's no reason to be threatened by his activity because it's, you know, it has nothing to do with issues of state or anything like that.
We do not know, why Ngawang Choephel has been, detained. First of all, we do not know where he's being detained. We do not know how long he'll be detained. And we do not know eventually what charges they'll bring against him, and what will happen to his fate. Everything is in this moment, so uncertain.
It is imperative that this rich culture be preserved now through the transcription of poems and music into visual form. A day and a night horse riding from Mount Kailash near Todingompa in Sabarong Tsang is a place called Dawa, where I was born on May 3rd, 1963, during the most miserable time all over Tibet. I was merely 2 when my mother, grandmother, uncles, myself, and other relatives began to leave our own land, cattle, and cleansing Snow White Mountain, which has thousands of years' history. It was our great expectation to find a new way of life in India. It was in 1965 when we were told to go to southern India, the place where we were to lead a new life, with a dense forest with frequent fear of wild animals. It lies in the coastal area, 3 hours bus ride from the Arabian Sea. It is called Mungod.
Just growing up was pretty simple, very limited resource of sense of the food, and it was very hard for food and water, and there was not much of opportunity of people, finding employment.
As we were newcomers from Tibet, we built our house with a thatched roof. My mom and uncle got work for daily wages in the construction of a dam. With their money, we were struggling to lead a new life. My younger brother died at the age of 5 due to inadequate sanitation.
There was no transportation, and the Tibetans didn't speak the language, and the climate change. I think there were a lot of sicknesses and so forth. Ngawang lived in camp number 2. I lived in camp number 8. It was the other direction.
There was no school in my native place. So years gone by, I was simply going with Mom and Uncle wherever they go for work. Later, my mom sent me to a school when I was 10 with our neighbor's son.
I think around class 7th and 8th, he and I did a music number together. He played a harmonica and I sang, and I thought he was kidding first. Didn't take him seriously, and then I realized that, he has created this music. And we met 3 times a week after class, and we practiced in this small classroom. It came out really well, and he played beautifully.
A turning point of my life stage occurred when the chairman of our settlement entered our classroom and broke the announcement of a diploma course in Tibetan traditional dance, music, and history of performing at the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts in Dharamsala.
When I teach him music and dance, he loved very much. He said, whenever I teach, he really catch quickly because of the interest.
and he's always asking about the performing arts. He said this kind of music is very, very important to the world. He says that the Tibetan music is not the culture of only Tibet. He thinks it's culture of the world. So he said he'd like to preserve it, he'd like to continue to study.
Ngawang decided to come to this country so that he could build up a kind of a vocabulary in the arts, in music and dance and theater.